Today on Monson Made This, we are making a day's worth of meals using leftover brown rice.
Brian Little.
Japan. I'm back. It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't produced a video. The main reason is that I've been trying to eat a little bit healthier in my personal life and trying to make some healthier recipes for this channel. And I just haven't been super or overly happy with what I've been producing. But in the meantime, I've been sort of, eating, surviving. And so instead of trying to make a brand new recipe to share with you on this channel, I decided to kind of share with you the recipes that I do make in my daily life. So I always like to keep brown rice on hand. I'm not going to really talk too much about cooking it, but I do use this rice cooker. This is a Zojirushi rice cooker. I think I said that right. I got this on Amazon a couple of years ago and I've been obsessed with it. I love it so much. I just drop the rice in there, press a button, and it's ready. Brown rice takes about an hour and a half in here, which seems like a long time, but I definitely think the quality of the rice is amazing. This isn't the most inexpensive of kitchen utensils, but I do use it quite a bit. So I like to make a bunch of brown rice, keep it in the fridge, keep it on hand, and then I can use it in a variety of different recipes or dishes. And I'm gonna be showing you 3 of those today. So I have a breakfast for you, which is kind of a breakfast rice pudding. I have a lunch for you, which is a sushi taco salad type thing. I'll explain that all in a minute. And then for the dinner, I have a pineapple fried rice. So let's get started with these. I'll have all the recipes posted or linked below to my website, and I'll meet you over at the stove and we'll get started on breakfast. Each of these recipes calls for 1 cup of brown rice cooked, and I have already a cup of cooked brown rice here in this pot. And this is a day or 2 old, so it's still a little bit chilled. To that, I'm going to add a cup of almond milk. You could use plant milk of your choice. And I'm just gonna put this onto medium heat to start out with. Now this is gonna be like a rice pudding, so we wanna sweeten that up a little bit. So I'm going to be adding some maple syrup, just about a tablespoon or 2. And then for spice, I'm going to be adding some pumpkin pie spice. This is the Trader Joe's. You could just use cinnamon if you wanted, but I think the pumpkin pie spice is nice because it just has some other warming spices in there as well. So I'm just gonna stir this up, and this is just gonna hang out. It's kind of ready to eat when it's warmed through, but I like to let it go about 15, maybe even up to 20 minutes. And the rice breaks down a little bit more and it just gets a little bit creamier. The last thing I'm gonna do is stir in about a tablespoonful of peanut butter, and that's just gonna add a little bit of healthy fat and protein to this breakfast. So this is just gonna come up to temperature and it will hang out and simmer while I prepare my lunch. So while the breakfast rice pudding simmers behind me, and it doesn't really need to be babysat, you can kind of go about your morning routine while that simmers, but while that's working, I'm going to be making my lunch, which is kind of the impetus for this entire video. And for lunch, I'm going to be making these sushi tacos. Basically, it's a brown rice, avocado, cucumber, and carrot mixture that becomes kind of the meat of the taco. Cut up little pieces of nori, spoon in the avocado, rice, carrot, cucumber mixture, put a little sriracha on it and eat it. And it's one of my favorite meals right now. I've even eaten it up to like twice in a day, having it like 3 times a week. It's just so good, tastes just like a sushi dish would, but it's so easy. Everything just gets thrown together, and I don't know, I've eaten it probably a couple times in the last week just standing at the counter because it's just so good. So enough of my talking, let's throw things together. Here I have a cup of leftover brown rice. And to that, I'm going to be adding half of a large avocado, and I'm just going to put this directly into the bowl. Now I want to add this to the rice first and get this mixed in with the rice, because the avocado kind of becomes the binder for this dish, and it's what keeps the rice from becoming too crumbly, and it allows you to use it as the meat in these sushi tacos. So I just want to mix this avocado in here. Actually, while I do that too, I want to add a bit of seasoned sushi vinegar. You could just use rice wine vinegar. And I'm adding probably about 2 tablespoons in there. I really like the acidity, and because it is seasoned, it adds a lot of flavor to this dish. So just mix this together. It'll also help it from browning if you're planning on taking this to lunch at work or something like that, that the vinegar really helps the avocado stay green. All right, so the avocado is mixed in there. To the avocado and rice mixture, I am adding 1 carrot that I grated up in my food processor. You could use a box grater, you could just finely dice this. And then I have 1 whole cucumber, also grated in my food processor. I wouldn't recommend using a box grater for this, but chopping it up into a small dice would be great. You could add other items to this as well if you wanted to chop up maybe some baked tofu. But these are my favorite ingredients for this. So I'm just gonna mix this together. And actually for a little bit of seasoning, I'm gonna put just a few drops of Bragg's liquid amino, just like a soy sauce. So I'm gonna mix this together. And this dish is pretty much done. Normally I would just eat this directly out of the bowl, but we're being a little bit fancier today, and I've been dying to use this dish. I bought it at a thrift store, so this seemed like the perfect way to use it. So I'm just going to put a nice pile of this. You can see how nicely it sticks together because of the avocado. All right, and I'm going to top with a little bit of furikake. This is optional. This is just basically some seaweed and sesame seeds. All right, and here we have it. It is our sushi tacos. And to serve it, just grab a piece of nori. I've just taken 2 sheets. 2 sheets is probably good for this amount. Taken 2 sheets, cut them into quarters, and then I'll actually use this here. Just spoon it in. It's a little bit messy, but that's what makes it fun. Add a little bit of sriracha for heat, and then dig in. My rice pudding, breakfast rice pudding here has been going for about 15 minutes, and I'm ready to add my last ingredient, which is some peanut butter. I love this creamy peanut butter from Trader Joe's, and I'm just stirring in just about a tablespoon. It's optional. You could use almond butter, you could use sunflower butter. Just think it adds a really nice creaminess, and again, just a little bit of fat, a little bit of protein, which I think helps this dish stick with you a little bit longer. We're gonna do a taste test of all 3 of these dishes at the end, so I'm just gonna stir this peanut butter in, and I'm gonna set it aside while I make my last dish, which is going to be the pineapple fried rice. So this is just gonna hang out, and I'll see you back here at the stove in a second, and we'll start that rice. This dish is inspired by one of my favorite Thai dishes, a pineapple fried rice. And I'm calling this a fried rice, even though we're not really going to fry it, it's gonna be more of a sauté. So I'm starting out here with some green onion, the white part of some green onion, and some red bell pepper. To that, I'm going to be adding some baked tofu. This is gonna just add a nice bit of protein and kind of take place of the protein in the rice as well as the egg. And I just wanna get a little bit of color on these. And notice I haven't added any oil to the pan, but I will be adding some sesame oil in just a moment. Adding a little bit of cashew, because pineapple fried rice always has cashews. And as that heats up, I'm just gonna add a few dashes of sesame oil. If you wanted to keep this entirely oil-free, you could, but I think the sesame oil is just really important to the flavor of this dish. So I'm just gonna toss this around a bit, get just a little bit of color on these items, and then we'll add the remaining ingredients. These have been going for a couple of minutes here on medium-high heat, and things are getting just a little bit of color. Now I'm going to be adding some curry powder. Now this is a golden curry, or it's a Japanese-style curry powder. It is not a Madras or like Indian curry powder, so just be careful. I'll have a link to the brand that I use in the information below. So I'm just gonna let this go for a moment to lightly toast the curry powder. And I'm gonna add some garlic. Don't want to add this too early because the garlic does have a tendency to brown. Or burn, I mean. And the next thing is the rice. Again, that is 1 cup of day-old cooked brown rice. Gonna add some frozen peas. And of course, our pineapple, that is just canned pineapple. Keeping this on medium-high heat. And my goal here is to basically just get the rice warmed through. And it's nice to keep it on a higher temperature just because it prevents it a little bit or helps it a little bit from sticking. Oh, forgot one thing. Liquid aminos, just about a tablespoon of that, and that's our soy sauce for this dish. If you do notice that things are sticking pretty badly, you can deglaze with a little bit of the pineapple juice if you did buy canned pineapple. A little bit of sticking is inevitable. If you want to use oil, you definitely can, but I'm trying to keep this just as healthy as possible. So I'm ready for the last ingredients. I have some red pepper flake I'm adding just to give a bit of heat. I have the green parts of my green onion and a little bit of fresh cilantro. I'm gonna save a little bit for on the top. And that's pretty much it. Turning the heat off, stirring this together, and then we'll plate it up. This is definitely enough for 2 people, but I've been known to eat an entire batch of this myself, so. It smells amazing. Let's plate it up. The whole house smells amazing because of this curry in here. By the way, I did pull this out. So this is the brand that I use, S&B Oriental Curry Powder. This is my favorite. It's like a Japanese style, but it works really well in this Thai-inspired dish. So let's plate. You could eat this whole thing yourself, like I said I have, or you could plate this up nicely for your family like I'm gonna do now. Full of fresh vegetables, beside the frozen and canned vegetables and fruit that's in here, but you know what I mean. Plate it up lovely here. It's quite a bit considering we started with just 1 cup of already cooked brown rice. And then, forgot it over there, some fresh cilantro on top just for pretty and some nice flavor. And that's it. Here we have our pineapple fried rice. My brown rice 3 ways is all finished. I'm just plating up my rice pudding here into this cozy bowl. And I'm actually gonna be topping it with some dried fruit. I was at Starbucks this morning and I realized I didn't have any raisins or anything like that on hand. So I asked them if I could have some of their raisins or currants that they serve with their oats, and they gave them to me. So here I have, I think it's raisins, cranberries, and I'm just gonna sprinkle these on top. A little more. All right, so here we have it. Breakfast is a brown rice pudding. Smells amazing. The pumpkin pie spice, which again, you could just use cinnamon if you wanted, is really nice, as well that peanut butter smell really carries through. Our lunch here are our sushi tacos, and then for dinner, we have a pineapple fried rice. All each using 1 cup of leftover brown rice, which you could have made yourself, or maybe it came home with you from a takeout restaurant, but either way, these are 3 really amazing, healthy dishes that use what you have on hand. When I'm trying to eat healthier or just be a little bit more conscientious of what I'm eating, I really want to make sure that I have protein, fat, and carbohydrates in each of my dishes. If I'm just eating straight potatoes, or if it's just tofu, or if it's just something fatty, I don't find that I'm as satisfied. So I like to make sure that each of the dishes that I eat kind of has a nice balance of all 3 of those nutrients. So that's what I've set up for you here. The first one here, the breakfast, which is the rice pudding. Now I added the peanut butter in there for some fat and for some protein, and of course the carbohydrates in the rice itself. Let's give it a taste. It's not too sweet. It's a really great substitute for oats if maybe you're not really into oats. It's creamy, the peanut butter flavor really comes through, and the nice sweetness that comes from the dried fruit really helps to pick up the entire dish. I really also love the cinnamon and the other warming spices that are in that pumpkin pie spice mix. Again, just use cinnamon if you don't have that mix, but I really do think that the combination of all of those other warming spices in there really helps to elevate this. In terms of lunch here, beautiful dish that's basically a 1/3 rice, a 1/3 cucumber, and a 1/3 carrot. And the nori just adds a really nice bit of texture as well as some flavor. And like I said, I really just eat this directly out of the bowl, add a little bit of sriracha to the top for some seasoning, But this is easily enough for 2 people as an appetizer. Can easily come with you to lunch at work or at school. And sriracha is definitely necessary for this. Couple drops. Let's give it a taste. It's crispy. It's creamy from the avocado. It just really gives you everything, everything that you would get from sushi without having to roll it up. Things just get mixed together, and it just tastes incredible. I love the nori with this. If you didn't really care for nori or seaweed flavor, just eat it as it is, as a salad. Maybe put it on some crackers, but again, with the avocado adds a nice bit of fatness and creaminess, the freshness of the vegetables. It's just a really nice, balanced, delicious, healthy dish. And I always feel really good after I eat this. I feel like I've done something good for myself, and I'm satisfied for quite a while. The last one here is the pineapple fried rice. Now, if you wanted to add some oil to it, if that was something that you were interested in, wanted to make a little bit more unctuous, definitely do that. But I don't really think that it needs the oil, as long as you saute the spices and the seasonings or the aromatics at the beginning to bring out their flavors. You really don't miss the oil. Let's give it a taste. It's delicious. It reminds me of exactly the dish that I get at my favorite Thai restaurant, but you don't have the guilt because, again, you've eliminated a lot of the fat from the oil, but you still have some of the good fat in there from the cashews, and then you have the protein from the tofu. Pineapple brings out the sweetness as well as the red bell pepper, the peas. It's just a really nice balanced dish, and it has a really good depth as well from the curry powder. So, I'm excited to be able to eat all 3 of these. Really great, 3 meals, delicious, healthy, filling, satisfying, and it just uses some ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen. So thank you for watching. Sorry it's been so long since my last video, but I hope this makes up for it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, definitely do so. Give this video a thumbs up and like it, share it, and all of my recipes are posted on my website, monsonmadethis.com. Links will be below. As well, if you make any of these dishes, take pictures, tag me on Instagram at monsonmadethis. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for all of you that have subscribed. I'm over 5,000 subscribers now, which is amazing. So thank you for all of you that are there for me and continue to be there for me. So have a great week. I will see you next week, I promise, with a brand new recipe video. Till then, have a great day, have a great week. I'll see you then.